From the track too tough to tame to the action track, the 2005-2026 season for the NORA Retro Cup Series by Harpoon Design rolls on and tackles another short track. Richmond was, for a long time, one of NASCAR's most exciting racetracks, and its unique offset start-finish paired with its length and shape are some of the reasons why. This is a true driver's track, and we're set for 240 big ones around here tonight. Welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Richmond, Virginia. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Super alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the Richmond 240. Tonight's coverage from Richmond is brought to you by Harpoon Designs, by NORA, and by Whiplash Simcams. And Super, of course, I know you're new to this series and new to these cars maybe, but one thing we know as NASCAR fans is all about Richmond Raceway. Started life as the Richmond Fairgrounds Speedway. It was a half-mile dirt track, half-mile paved track for a long time. And then, later on in the 1900s, in the 20th century, I suppose, they kicked out the front stretch, made it D-shaped, and I think it got a whole lot better. This is one of the more unique short tracks you'll find in the country, certainly within NASCAR. It's not that true oval shape. It's got the D shape to it, and that start-finish line. It's just on the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, the most interesting part also about it is the pit lane. It's a really long pit lane considering how long the track is, which means that we could be seeing drivers lose plenty of time if they have to take a green flag pit stop.
Yeah, this is not a place that you want to ever have to pit under green. You want to try and do it under caution, but every once in a while, this place has a way of spitting these drivers into a long green flag formation and causing some green flag pit stops. So we could be in for an interesting one here this evening. It's been completely interesting all the way through this season to this point. Let's take a look at the point standings coming into tonight's race. You see 10 out of the way, 26 left to go, 16 until the chase cutoff, and as of now, Super, look at that. The wild card really is no longer in effect. Of course, if you are outside of the top 10, but within 400 points of the points leader, you get added into the chase field. Otherwise, it's just the top 10 in points. That is it. And you see now, there's no more wild card in play unless Vincent Arthur, Donald Kite, Jacob Gladys, unless these guys really start to make some ground up on Hunter Sr., maybe then things can move around a little bit. And to be fair, half of the deficit from Hunter Sr. back to Vincent Arthur is just from first to second. Hunter Sr. to Josh Conover. The 4-car is just the most consistent. He's got the most wins. Hunter Sr. is just covering this field this season so far.
Yeah, and it's also going to be really interesting because, right, that gap might not close, right? Those points have already gotten there for a reason. It's going to be hard for them to close in, but, I mean, you know, we have plenty of races left until the playoffs. There's absolutely a chance.
Plenty of time until the chase, 16 races to go, and we can take a look at the schedule to see how we will be getting there. After tonight, we actually have a week away from points racing. We will be headed to Charlotte, but for the All-Star race next week. And that, of course, will shake things up a little bit within this series. I know there's some plans from the series to spice that race up a little bit, but then we'll have the traditional May race at Charlotte, 300 laps, a little bit longer of a race for sure. Then it's on to Dover and a bunch of the other typical summertime NASCAR Cup Series tracks. I mean, Dover, Pocono, Michigan, Sonoma, Chicagoland. Then Montreal gets thrown in. That's going to be a really crazy kind of halftime moment, I think, for this series, from the road course at Montreal to the super speedway at Daytona, with Chicagoland and Pocono on each end of that. I mean, that is just a really drastic swing in a handful of weeks. There is no more kind of get into a rhythm. You just got to go, put in practice, and get good at each of these racetracks. Really, they're aside from Michigan and California at races 23 and 25, Super, there are no two that are alike very near each other at all.
Yeah, and also on the topic of the schedule, this race is going to be very important because that 26th race, that race right before the cutoff, they're going to be coming back to Richmond. So we're going to be able to use this information for race 26 when it's going to matter most.
Absolutely. This will be a very important night to these guys for the season as a whole. Now, we're in practice still for about 17 more seconds. You can see the times there on the left side of your screen. Kevin Baumler, he is fastest so far in this practice session, and likely will stay that way in these final 5 or so seconds. And Super, why is this relevant right now? Well, not only is he fast on the racetrack, but we have fantasy picks that are getting locked up here shortly when these guys go racing in a couple of minutes. And I just so happened to pick Kevin Baumler not only for my points group, but also to win this race. And if we take a look at the fantasy standings coming into today, we started this last week at Darlington. Zach Murtis, he didn't pick for today's race, I don't believe. I was looking through a little bit ago. I didn't see him on there. But he is not going to be here tonight, so already the leader of the standings is going to face a pretty heavy blow. Greg Thillison, our race controller, he is second. LJ Hernandez, you see some others all mixed through there. I enter 7th, and then Super, I know you got your first picks in here today. This is going to move around entirely, and of course, this is kind of on the fun side of things. Not for nearly as many marbles as the championship, but still something we're going to keep an eye on. You can certainly still join the fantasy game for the for the National Online Racing Association by using the link at the bottom of your screen now. There you see the info to join the Whiplash Fantasy game for the National Online Racing Association Retro Series here in 2026 as they replicate in their own way the 2005 season. That said, we also have power rankings to get to. Let's not forget those here, Super, before we get racing today. And there are your Clark Contracting power rankings with none other than Hunter Sr. on top. This has changed quite a bit, actually, this graphic, and everything is super close from 3rd through even 7th, but especially 3rd through 6th. 3/10 of a point, rather, separating 3rd through 6th positions on this graphic. It is very, very tight right there. And I really do think there's probably about 8 guys that have the field covered. I'd say it's those top 6, plus maybe Vincent Arthur, and you can probably make an argument for Brian Jones to be in there as well. So I guess your top 7 plus Vincent Arthur seem like the best 8 on the racetrack any given week. It's just Vincent Arthur has had such bad luck. He's nowhere within this top 10. So Super, I know you're taking a lot in, kind of learning these names a little bit, seeing who's quick. This is a good indicator as to who might be good tonight, although on pole for our ATVO starting grid, I think this is a slight surprise. The guy who was fastest, and actually let's get this. No, hang on. I'm still learning. I have 4 different grids to use. That's the one I want. Yes, we get to see some pictures. Kevin Baumler on pole, and this is a big pole position for Kevin tonight. Of course, track position going to mean everything at this kind of racetrack. Super hard to pass here at Richmond, so that's important for the 81 car. He will lead us to the green today here at Richmond for 240 laps. Dalton Tucker over his right shoulder. Teammates on the front row. Back in row number 2, Chase Durheim and Wayne Sparks. Sparks, the top Hendrick driver. That's pretty interesting to see as Cody Anderson will line up 5th, Dustin Kleba in 6th. Libby Brian Jones and Ronnie Norman back in row number 4 and row 5. How about Hunter Sr. and Vincent Arthur?
Row 6, Jacob Gladich, and row 6 on that inside, Jacob Gladich. On that outside, you got Josh Conover. Kyle Rochelle on the inside, Brady Motes on the outside. And row 7 got Jake Christenberry and John Skanovicki. Caden Henry Okeos and Isaiah Waltros round out that next row. And on row 10, Kyle Taub and Nick Ham.
21st spot, Jared Skinner in the 04, Nick Geilis from 22nd. 23rd, Craig Martin. 24th, Cody Smith. Donald Kite and Brad Fulham back in row 13. Row 14 gives us Joey Stats alongside Dominic Bettini, and I believe one more row on the field, Noah Blackwell and Josh Adams. We have one more lap of pacing if the admins have set those up properly, and it looks like they have. Let's take a look at your Whiplash SimCam's race details on your screen, bottom right currently. 240 laps here this evening, as I mentioned earlier. That's 180 miles around this joint, 77% fuel load, 10 change sets for these guys to use, almost unlimited tires, plenty to be used in the pit lane tonight. Single file restarts, lapped cars to the inside, all the same usual stuff we love about this series. And weather conditions for today's race, the MXWraps.com weather conditions. There you see 79 degrees just about in the air, 80 on track, mostly cloudy skies. That humidity is nice and low. This is a beautiful virtual day for racing at virtual Richmond Raceway. 240 laps, that's the distance for these guys as they dive down to turns 3 and 4 for the final time before going racing here tonight. Kevin Baumler in control. 240 circuits, the 81 bringing us to the green flag. Here we go, Richmond style, the action track comes to life. I gotta say, I really do love the green flag right at sunset. That is a really nice touch. Problems, Hunter Sr., the 4-car around in the front straightaway. He will continue, no caution. The number 4 gets himself righted, and boy, the first battle on the racetrack then is for 4th position. That's Wayne Sparks and Cody Anderson as our points leader is all the way to the back of the field.
Anderson trying to hold on to that inside with Sparks, gonna get that big run on the outside. That's what you're gonna be seeing here. It's a real big mix of can you get that nose on the inside to stop him from getting that massive send on that outside.
Brian Jones, somebody I want to watch here this evening. I really feel like he's got something this season, and it's just starting to come to life. He's been getting more and more consistent. We knew he was fast in the earlier goings this season. He got that win at Atlanta, but I just feel like lately the runs are going more and more his direction. He was great at Darlington last week. Let's see if he can close this one out today. It's still early, obviously, lap 4, but you see the ebbing and flowing here in the top 10. Ronnie Norman in the conversation. Vincent Arthur is flying up the outside of Brian Jones, or at least trying to. And Josh Conover actually pulls up behind his teammate, Vincent Arthur. This is all just inside the top 10.
It's a close about 7th to 10th. And then, actually, I think there might be a little bit more behind. But we're already starting to see some minor packs form outside of the big lead that's being picked up. I think that's going to be really interesting, just looking at all these big packs, right? They're going to fight each other. They're going to hold each other up. They might start killing each other's tires. I think that'd be interesting for lap cars if it comes to it.
Here's a look at Brady Motes and Jacob Gladjulich. Gladjulich, the number 20. I keep mentioning, of course, Tony Stewart did win the 2005 NASCAR Cup Series Championship, so, naturally we look to the 20 car to see if he can keep true to 2005. Time will tell for Gladjulich. He is super consistent. He's one of the more consistent drivers in this field. I wouldn't say he's necessarily breaking down the door for wins, but he doesn't need to be. He's on the fringe of making the chase as it is, and so long as he keeps that car in one piece and just gets to those final 10 races, who knows what can happen later this year. Watch out for the 20 car as well, as down through turns 3 and 4 to complete lap number 8, it is the number 81 at control of the field. I'll be honest, this is not some kind of juju moment or anything that I knew about Kevin Baumler. This was a shot in the dark for me picking him. He was involved in some big wrecks, a big wreck at Dover for the BRB Sundance Pro Series last week. He actually flipped in the front straightaway, flipped his car over. And just for some reason, I felt like after flipping over, he might bounce back tonight and run well here at Richmond. And I don't want to jinx him here, Super, but to start on pole, go fastest in practice, he's led the opening 9 laps of this race, and it doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon.
It's a bold strategy, but yeah, I think definitely after that flip, he really wanted to come back, with a bit of extra force, a bit of extra push. I think he really wanted to show that he can do something.
Meanwhile, battle here for the 4th spot. Cody Anderson, Brian Jones. Jones starting to work through the field, as I mentioned. This is up to a battle to move the 1st spot outside the podium, as Durheim has taken off following Tucker for 2nd. This then is the next best fight.
And yeah, once these cars kind of start to get a little bit bunched up, you'll notice that they're losing a whole bunch of ground. The top 3 is single file, and they're just continuing to pull away from everyone else who's just fighting.
Single file through most of the field now. There is some racing deeper in the pack. Here's Kyle Tubb ahead of Jacob Gladjulich. Isaiah Watcher is new to the series. He joined last week at Darlington, and it seems he's going to try and make a commitment to as many races as possible. He's running here in 16th, right behind the number 20 as Tubb works on Christenberry. Boy, Christenberry's got some big shoes to fill at Richmond, right? I mean, Denny Hamlin and Richmond, it's kind of like Denny Hamlin and Martinsville. They just go together. It's one of those Virginia short tracks that Denny knows so well, has run at a million times, and we always kind of look to the 11 in the NASCAR Cup Series to be one of the best here at this racetrack. We'll see if that's true for the number 11 here in the NORA Retro Cup Series, but so far he is down in 13th spot. He is trying to get through the field here, so we'll give him some time.
Yeah, just trying to make that outside lane work. He's not doing bad with it.
And this is a battle for 21st. Newcomer, Caden Henry Oaks. I know that guy pretty well. He's 21st so far with Noah Blackwell to his inside. Nick Geilis just behind, and that pass is made. Caden gets ahead of Noah, who then blinks in turns 1 and 2. How about that?
Yeah, a little bit of lag, but at least he's back in it. It'd be a shame if he were to go out. As we see trying to work around the outside is Nick Geilis. Right? Drivers are going to start experimenting, I feel like, as the moon starts to rise, the sun goes down, it's going to become a completely different track by the end of this race. There's a little bit of a blip there too.
Side by side off of 2 that time for Blackwell and Oaks. Oh, Caden Henry Oaks into the right rear. Up the racetrack, keeps it off the wall just barely, and Nick Geilis underneath him. This is a little scary down the front stretch. Hunter Sr. backs out. You know, Caden, he texted me this afternoon and asked if we had any races coming up on Mondays that he could run. I said, you know what, here's this Discord link. See if to let you in tonight. And here he is driving the 25 for Hendrick Motorsports. Matthew George typically in that car. I do think he's got some stuff to work on. I think he's a little bit out to lunch right now. Seems like he's still coming to grips with the race car a little bit. But I have confidence in him that over the course of a race, he can figure this thing out. He's actually from Virginia, so this is a home race for him. Time will tell. It's still very, very early.
Yeah, and, you know, I know that, you know, the 4 senior ended up spinning out earlier, but, I mean, come on. You still have to give him credit for continuing to push on, continuing to power through. As you're going to see, he's going to go around the outside of Henry Oaks. You have to give him credit for putting his head down and just driving to the best of his abilities.
He's 12.3 seconds behind the race leaders currently, so he is most of a lap down. But all he needs to do here is just put pressure on the leading, slow that down, get all the spots he can, control what he can control, right? I mean, the spin already happened. There's no sense in fussing about it. Just put your head down, get the spots back. And that's what Hunter Sr. is doing as Caden Henry Oaks falls down to 26th. This is back here now with Joey Stats for 27th. I mean, these guys are all over the racetrack. Here's Dominic Bettini in the 10. This is literally the back end of the field, by the way. This is 28th out of 30. The only 2 behind Dominic are Nick Ham and Donald Kite. And Kite is just not coming to grips with this racetrack, it looks like. Does not have things figured out whatsoever. That, or he's really saving some tires.
You really can't put it past him if he's making mistakes. This is, you know, I know you can say this about every track, but this is just one of its own. There's no track at all like it.
So Kite going to work here. He is about 15 seconds back of the leaders in a 23-second lap. In fact, there are the leaders out of turn 4 now. It is all Kevin Baumler at the front. Some checkouts midfield. The 4 and 28 swapping spots. Josh Adams racing with Noah Blackwell. Josh Adams, also a new driver here to the series. I think that paint scheme might change a bit. I think the idea is for it to be a partner car to the number 22 of Craig Martin, but as you see here, some throwback Wayland colors on the number 23 here this evening. Up the road, here's some fights. Skavnicki, Smith, Skinner, Watrous in the 40. They're going to swap spots, Skavnicki and Watrous. That will be the 38 going on through. The 40 falling back with the 42 working the outside. Cody Smith, some throwback colors for him. A nod Davey Allison. And he is on the outside here on lap 28, trying to go by Isaiah Watrous. This would be for 16th.
Side by side as they come out of 4. Smith will get ahead of Watrous. He does have Skavnicki ahead of him on the outside. That could slow him up a little bit, but he is making a run. I think he just can't clear him, but maybe coming out of 4, yeah, he's going to clear him now.
And so Smith will now set his sights on Skavnicki. This could be a good fight for 15th spot. Cody Smith has been one of the higher end drivers this season. Has been in the top 10 a lot. He's threatened for some wins. Not sure why he started so deep down the field in 24th today, but he now looks up at Skavnicki in the 38, wonders if he can get by. That again would be for 15th spot. He'll try to do it here. Next up the road is the 8 car of Moats. That would be for 14th. And I do think Smith is eventually going to get this 38 car.
Yeah, he's really working that inside lane. He's making slow and steady progress. 38 is going to have a run, but he's going to have the longer way around. So we have a battle actually up here.
Yeah, this is a battle for 5th at the same time. So 2 really good fights on the racetrack all at once. Anderson gets clear of Kleba, which now means Skavnicki can keep trying to defend over Smith. This is still for 15th spot. Smith noses ahead. Now these guys, we're told, can do about 75 laps to a run, Super. So as we approach lap 35, and lap 38 for that matter, we are getting closer and closer to being halfway through a run, thereabouts. I'd say probably lap 35 to 40 is halfway in the run, and we can expect pit stops, I'd say, anywhere from 70 to 80 laps into a run, which really means these guys will be wanting to extend this opening run as long as they can, if they have the wherewithal to do so, to try to make sure they can run this out into, you know, the 80s, lap 81, lap 82 if possible. Because if you can put 3 80s together, that is 240. That would get you to the end on 2 total stops, 3 stints. So if you are able to hit lap 81 in this first run, you are right where you need to be.
And that's your math lesson with Pit Stop TV, ladies and gentlemen. As it is really just going to come down to, can you get to the threshold where you don't have to worry about making that 4th pit stop? Right, that extra pit stop that's going to cost you so much time. I was talking about it earlier, right? Pit stops under green are going to kill the drivers. There's so much time that can be lost. We might see a driver go 2 laps down, at least 1 lap down. It's just so detrimental to have to do a green flag pit stop when you don't have to.
But of course, minimizing green flag pit stops will be the name of the game. And staying out on a long run and going into extra laps will help that as well. So again, you'll want to run this tank out as far as you possibly can. Now, Dalton Tucker, this is a position I don't think he's been in much this season. Second, just chasing the leader. I think the only other time we saw this really would have been between he and Arthur at Martinsville. And you see they're both working up the racetrack. It looks like the bottom lane really got rubbered in practice. But the leaders are up the racetrack here, which is something you saw in later years at Richmond, see in more modern years even, but didn't really see at the time in 2005 all that often. The racetrack hasn't really changed. I don't think it's even been repaved, but typically, these guys want to go for the bottom. Typically.
And they're just using that future insight to know what the best line is.
I suppose. Great battles all around the racetrack. It's hard to pick just one. Let's go to Vincent Arthur and Josh Conover for now. They've gotten ahead of Brian Jones, who is down here now in 8th position. He's fallen back a little bit. But Arthur and Conover just might have a fight here soon for 6th. These are the best non-DEI or RCR kind of conglomerate Chevrolets in the field. I'm not really sure what the association would be from Anderson up to Tucker or Baumler. I believe the 3 is in the DEI stable. The lines get blurred, of course, bringing the 81 and the 3 into the Cup Series in 05. It's already blurring lines, so the affiliation, the exact ties are a little bit murky, but for intents and purposes of this, I think we can lump them together. So the first non-RCR or DEI Chevrolet is currently Vincent Arthur down here in 6th. And I mean, he has had great speed all season long, Super. I wonder if maybe his season so far could compare to, say, I'm trying to think of who you would have known from BRB last season that had a season like him. I don't know if there really is anybody. Maybe a Dustin Stallings, where we know he can win. We know he can be even the best, at least, a third of the time, if not better. But frankly, has not gotten any of these races to go his way. Has the one win earlier this season. Just doesn't really have the other results to show for it.
So Carson Hocevar without the wrecking.
I suppose.
I think that'd be a fitting metaphor. I do really like that Jeff Gordon scheme.
Oh, absolutely. Zach Meredith, if he was here, he'd be all over it. Hunter Senior, Isaiah Watrous battle for 18th currently. And the 4 continues to surge through this field. Let's see, he started up in 9th, so he had a top 10 starting spot, spun at the end of lap 1. No caution came out for it. It was contained to just a self-spin on the inside. We stayed green, and here we are nearly 50 laps later. He has gotten himself up to 18th spot, so certainly a great comeback already for this 4 car. And this, I was talking with you a little bit pre-race, and no offense at all to Hunter Sr., but I feel like each of his wins has been somewhat luck-aided. I feel like that they're certainly not flukes. They are far from flukes. But I just don't think they would have necessarily gone his way should somebody have, gone back in time and kicked a rock. I mean, I don't think they were guaranteed wins. I don't think he was necessarily the best car at the racetrack any of those days that he won. But he has been able to use circumstance to his advantage. Now he's going by his teammate Jared Skinner for 17th. He's used circumstance to his advantage. He's been in the right place at the right times. He's been good enough to get these 3 wins, and I certainly think he has more in his future. He's a fantastic driver. It's each setting that he's gotten to win, and I feel like has been just kind of crazy. There's a caution on the racetrack. Brady moats around in the front straightaway. The 8 comes to rest, and he rolls on away. This historically was a good racetrack to Dale Jr. So to see the number 8 around as the first caution is definitely hurting my inner child a little bit.
Oh, it was actually that 12's backed the wall up a little bit in front of him.
Yeah, so you see Moats running the outside here in 3 and 4. Just gets tapped. Kyle Tubb gets in his left rear. Goes for a slide, doesn't hit anything. And for his sake, good thing the caution came out. That'll keep him in this race.
Yeah, I think it might have been just a minor misjudgment by that 32 on the inside. Maybe assumed that, right, he was going to go a little bit higher on the exit than he did, so he thought he might have had more space. I think that's what happened.
A relatively inconsequential spin, if anything, is going to provide more consequences to the rest of the field as everybody comes in and pits. This could shake things up in terms of strategy, as one driver will stay out, and that's Caden Henry Oaks. Everybody else comes in. First off the pit lane, wow, Dalton Tucker. What a surge there to the line. Kevin Baumler, nothing he could do there. Oh, it's putting Tucker back ahead of, or Baumler ahead of Tucker. Tucker's going to the rear, speeding.
Yeah, I thought he had too big of a launch. Would have been cool though.
That was a great launch
He's
off the
zoomed
pit
out
lane.
of it. Yeah, he's
Too
zoomed
good.
out of it.
Watch this. As soon as that left jack drops and the crew lets him leave, he gets on it. A little too good.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta give him credit for trying.
Absolutely. 100%.
He's been stuck looking at that rear bumper of the 81 the entire race. He had to try something to get ahead. I don't fault him at all.
A great question out in the YouTube chat from our very own Chris Winstone. The O's and the R's next to these guys' names on the scoring pylon and other graphics and such, the O's signify the driver is running just for owner points, not for driver points. That's getting into some jargon that is just NASCAR coded in every way. It's really inconsequential to what we do. And the R's is just notifying that that's a rookie. That's somebody that has qualified for rookie status this season and is running for the rookie championship. But honestly, in terms of what we do with the broadcast and driver points and whatnot, they are relatively inconsequential. But good to know about regardless. Here we go. Restart zone coming up for Kevin Baumler, still out front. But now it's Chase Durham and Dustin Kleba second and third. Green flag, single file restart at Richmond. There is something so satisfying, so nostalgic about seeing a field of NASCAR Cup cars restart single file.
Especially when you get to see him ripping that outside wall. It's special.
Just enjoying some of the fights, the sights and sounds. Here's a fight. Conover and Arthur, this is for 5th spot on the racetrack currently. Conover going to win that battle, at least for the time being. And you know, that big lead that Kevin Baumler had worked up is all gone, but everybody's back on the same even footing, just like they were before. 4 tires and fuel all around. And now he gets to show that it's not a fluke. This is where you get to show, hey, I can go and replicate that kind of a run. I can go and get that big lead again. It doesn't matter what you guys do or throw at me. I can go and get the advantage all over again. So it is basically put up or shut up time for the 81 car. Silence the field early if you can. Let them know you're the best here.
Yeah, but also I feel like those cars behind him might be pushing extra hard because, you know, this is the closest they've been since the race start. They have to do something with it.
Absolutely. I think Durham will absolutely be more driven to keep up with that 81 car, considering this is, as you say, as close as he's been to him so far tonight. Same for Kleba. I'm not sure these guys are too concerned about it. I think they just want to get there first. And so Conover works here on the back end of Cody Anderson, this still for 4th position.
You see, as I was mentioning earlier, right? He's starting to try and work that outside. We also saw before the caution, a lot of drivers were working the outside. Maybe because drivers' tires are more colder, we're seeing them ride that inside lane. And as the tires start to heat up, they start to move to the outside. He's going to go for a move. It's Conover on Anderson. Oh, very loose coming out of the corner. He's going to hold on to 5th. That could have ended very poorly. Conover trying to work his way around the outside, continuing to try to make that run. It's what I was talking about earlier. He's trying to make that outside lane work, right? Everyone else still on that inside again. Could be because of the cold tires. But he's just trying to show that the outside lane has speed. And honestly, if he wouldn't have spun coming out of turn 2, I think he would be in 4th. He had a huge run. Very loose again. Oh my, that's not what you want to see. Is now he's getting pressured by Arthur behind in the 24. Those spins might not be doing too many favors on his tires. You see he's losing a little bit of speed to Anderson ahead. Still continuing to try that outside. Didn't get loose that time, so that's great. Trying to build a gap. It is tight between these two. As Arthur peeking down the inside. Can't do anything coming out of 4. And Conover is just continuing to go higher and higher. It's something, as he had a little, just tiny twitch right there. He's continuing to try that high line. We see those two behind him. That's Brandon Jones and Smith. They're also trying to work that high lane.
The whole racetrack, it seems like, is better right now if you go higher up. Obviously, you want to get out to the wall in the front straightaway, but then turns 3 and 4, turns 1 and 2, it seems like these guys want to go up the racetrack just a lane or two. And I really wonder if a big draw to that actually is going to be exiting the corner a whole lot more straight. Because if you straighten out the entry, you're not going to get nearly as loose as if you try and, you know, fight the corner all the way out, or I guess park the car all the way out of the corner. So if we follow Brian Jones here, for example, let's go to Vincent Arthur. He's been going lower. So watch the wheel he still has in it when he comes off the corner on the bottom. He's really smooth. He's being very, very smooth. If we go to Cody Smith, maybe, let's see if he has more. Maybe Christenberry. As Conover is all the way at the racetrack. So yeah, Christenberry's got a little more wheel in it. And you see even he's getting loose off the corner. He's pretty smooth. So on the inputs here, Super, but the lower you go down, the more input you got to put into the wheel on exit. Right there, you see Christenberry. A lot more wheel than even Arthur was doing. And so if we go up to Jones, for example, he's able to take this apex sooner and kind of straighten the exit out a bit so that there isn't so much weight transferring off the corner, and especially off of turn 2, the flatter of the two corners. Let's go up to Conover now. That is a huge help to keep the car underneath you. All the time that I've been on iRacing, we're going on 10 years this year, Richmond, turn 2 has always been one of the worst places to hang onto a race car across the entire sim. It's nearly impossible. You simply get loose at the drop of, I don't even know. It's like it has a mind of its own. It just spins out a lot of times. So I think these guys taking the outside line, not only are they finding speed, they're also making it easier on themselves, as Conover is taking one of the more extreme approaches.
And on the topic of the exit of turn 2, I think Conover would agree with you that it sucks to exit, almost spinning it twice on back-to-back laps. He's really wrestling that car as he's going to tag the wall there. He is fighting for every little inch he can get.
Cody Smith just behind these guys. Ryan Jones has gone down low now as Arthur's gone up high. So you see how these guys are all kind of searching, moving around, choosing different lanes at different times. Now Arthur and Jones both go middle. Smith a little high on entry. Gets this launch off the corner. Right to the back of Brian Jones, but nowhere to go for turn 3 as he's going to stay to the outside. Jones now protects high. This whole racetrack is opening up. Here's the battle. Side by side, the 4 and the 5. Senior up to 12th. Sparks to 11th.
You can see it's just the outside can just get on the gas so much quicker. If we get a chance later on in the race, I'd really love to just be able to listen to that audio and hear how much sooner a car on the outside can get in the gas. It feels like they just have a completely different engine in the car coming out of the exit as they just blow by those guys on the inside.
watching it, you can see how different these two lines are. Sparks able to turn the race car down the hill a little bit in the center. Let's see if we can see it here from high above. He enters, well, that time he was a little bit lower on the racetrack the entire corner. I think trying to hold the 4 car off. So if we go back up maybe to, well, Conover's actually gotten by Anderson, and now Anderson is racing with Arthur. So let's watch these two. Arthur, of course, the big run out of the corner. Let's watch him down here in 1 and 2. He's going to go back high. And right here, gets the car pointed down the racetrack. So not only is he straightening the corner out, getting back to the gas a little bit sooner, he's also letting gravity do some of the work, taking him down the racetrack. Right here, Apex starts to drive back down. What they call diamonding the corner. And this is one of the best racetracks to figure it out at. Your top 5, some of the strongest drivers in the field any given week. Kevin Baumler leads the way after 77 of 240. Chase Durheim, Dustin Kleba complete your top 3 currently. Conover and Arthur, your top 5. I'd say really the only real wild cards in the top 10 to me right now, Super, would maybe be the 33 and 11. Anderson, I will say, go back to Phoenix, for example. He was fantastic there. He's had some really good runs while being a bit more of a wild card driver. And tonight seems to be another one of those really good runs for the 33 car. I swear, if he were able to run full time, he'd be up with the best of them. But having a great night tonight so far, 6th place. And then Jake Christenberry finds himself now in the top 10. This is the highest up he's been so far tonight. He's been mid-teens or better, top half of the field at least, and now up into 9th position. I am more than intrigued to see how he does.
Yeah, maybe he is channeling his inner Denny Hamlin magic to really get her going at Richmond.
Time will tell. A side-by-side fight now for Brian Jones and Cody Smith. This is for 7th.
You see that outside just get a huge run. Nothing he could have done on that inside.
Yeah, Smith really just playing the long game. Oh, nearly contact there off of turn number 2. Jones, I think, grabbed the wall into the corner. You see them both go way up the track there in 3 and 4, and it's just going to be like this all night long. Guys trying to search around, find the right line for them. This might be, though, the most I've ever seen this racetrack opened up.
It is something.
It is something. Well, here's a battle for P last right now, and they're making contact. These guys are a lap down, Nick Ham and Joey Stats, and they are having the battle of their lives. Might just step away and let you guys watch this for a few laps. Here's Stats on board the number 77.
Oh.
Well, maybe not so much a battle anymore. Joey Stats tight there off the corner. Had a bobble or two as well. And Ham will now drive away. Kyle Tubman. He looks up at 23rd spot Donald Kite, who has improved since that opening run. And of course, this would have been the point, well, a little bit after the point, where these guys would have wanted to pit in that first go-around. So with that caution now, things change up a little bit for them. Obviously, the idea is the same. Get to about 80 to go, make your final stop, maybe even 75 now since you've got some extra laps.
So
actually, Blackwell's coming in. I'm surprised by this. Not shocked, but surprised.
Well, I mean, my thought process of why he could be doing this is, right, if he pits now, he's still probably going to have to pit the same amount as those guys ahead, so he could just be trying to get a jump on them. That's my best guess. Just trying something different.
Well, I was curious if he would leave as soon as the jack dropped. He did not. And what this tells me is he either, well, two things could be true. Either he has a penalty here, or he may have had something go on in real life, as we say, away from the sim, and had to step away. The truth will be told when we hit about 55 seconds or when he tows. So Noah Blackwell done for the night. He is out of here, as they say. And he will now
like to
assume 30th position. I'd like to know what went on there. Hopefully everything is okay for Noah, but that's an early exit for sure for car 99.
I would like to retract my statement of pitting early to gain an advantage. I do believe I might be wrong.
That's okay. What do you make of this? Battle now between Senior and Christenberry. As you see up the road, Jones has fallen back behind Cody Smith. Good little fight here for ninth place.
I believe I think Senior started in ninth, so if he were to get this spot, he'd be back up to where he started after spinning, and that'd be huge for him, a huge confidence booster, and probably a huge little, might maybe strike some fear into those drivers' minds, knowing that he came from the back and he's not stopping.
And Hunter Sr. will get that pass completed. He will pass Jake Christenberry and take ninth place back away. So 90 laps later, Hunter Sr. finally back to where he started. And has the loss of control 1X, I guess, to show for it. Well, up the road, Brian Smith, he runs in Icon on Sundays. Brian Jones with Cody Smith, there we go. These guys battling for 7th still. Also, Wayne Sparks and Dalton Tucker. Of course, we saw Dalton Tucker get that pit penalty. He has driven back through the field as low as 28th. That was at the restart. He is up to 11th. How about that for the 3-car?
Yeah, he's on the same type of run I was talking about with Senior, right? He's coming from the back. He has no intention of stopping anytime soon. He was riding second for a majority of the race, so we know he has the speed to get up there. I feel like it's just a matter of time of when he gets up there, not if.
Looking around the field just a little bit, still Smith and Jones, and now throw in Senior. This is going to be a good fight, I think, between these three. There are others on the racetrack. It's just so hard to pick which one to go to because now, I mean, these guys, this might be one of the best battles we see all night. Hunter Sr. come from behind, spun on lap 1. He may have used his tires up a little bit, but he has run these two down.
Yeah, he's riding that inside line, which, isn't, surprisingly, when you're at 2005 in Richmond, is shockingly not the most preferred line by a lot of these drivers, but he's making it work on that inside. He's going to try now on Jones. Yeah, Jones really going to go high. If if Senior can get clear, he will not be able to, unfortunately. The fight will continue.
I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of surprised Smith got back to him there. This time I think Senior's got him. Maybe not. Slight slide off the corner there for the 4. But this time, right? Yeah, this time I think Senior's got him, and Senior's even going to take a peek underneath the 42 of Smith. So Hunter Senior continuing to drive back through the field, and then some. This is now the highest he's been today.
I feel like that shows why he's the point leader.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was telling you earlier, I feel like his other wins, again, they were not flukes. I want to clarify that. But I feel like they were luck-aided, if you will. Well, tonight, he's definitely trying to shut me up because he spun lap 1, went all the way to the back, has driven back through, and is now gaining positions and passing some of the best in the series to do it, some of the strongest drivers in the series.
But, great drivers put themselves in an opportunity to win, and, right, he probably wasn't the fastest on the track those days that he ended up winning, but he put himself in the right position to win, and that's just what you have to do.
There is absolutely something to be said for being in the right place at the right time. You've got to put yourself in that position to take advantage of the circumstances that may come your way. So I will always maintain that still takes skill. You've got to make sure you are in the right spot to take advantage of a circumstance when it presents itself to you. 99 complete now, working on 100. This is a battle between 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. I mean, it's a whole bunch of cars in a line. Really, the focus, though, would certainly be 2nd and 3rd. Chase Durheim, Dustin Kleba. We'll have 140 to go this time by. Now, it was the number 9 who won here back in 2005. Of course, these are NASCAR 2003 Cup cars, running a 2005 season, and a few edits along the way to the schedule and teams and such, as Cody Smith is going to pit here with 100 complete. And these guys are probably about 25 from needing to pit. My point, though, is Casey Kane won this race in the 9 car back in 05. We'll see if Kleba can deliver and keep that number 9 in victory lane here at Richmond for this particular race. He looks to the inside of Durheim. This is for second spot. Pit stops are starting. We just saw Cody Smith pit. Who knows between these two? Kleba dives to the inside, and that is a position gain. He will clear Durheim.
Durheim is going to have a shot back at him, though. He's going to go down that inside, trying to fight back, as Conover behind him is licking his lips at the idea of them fighting and shredding their tires. As Durheim just trying to stick with them, trying to get a little side draft there. Conover is just trying to go on that outside, try to set up a run for if these two mess each other up.
You know what? I feel like if I'm Durheim here, I might want to pit. Get tires, shortcut. Not shortcut, short pit. Undercut, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. He does look a little loose out there.
It looks like he's struggling just a little bit compared to Kleba and Conover. Maybe from running the bottom a little more reliably. I gotta think, man, just go ahead. Take the tires. Get the advantage here. He's way loose, wrecking loose into turn 1 that time.
He's gotta come in this time. He would just be losing so much unnecessary time, as while they're fighting, I believe Ballmer gained a few tenths of a second. I don't know exactly how much, but it had to be a little bit.
Ballmer is continuing to put time on these guys. 1.9 seconds now between first and second. As this is third and fourth, Durheim just continues to slip around the racetrack, slip and slide. That might sound like a fun summer activity, but I don't think you want to here in a Gen 4 Cup car at Richmond. I mean, this is getting pretty rough for the 16. Again, I think take the tires.
I'm surprised he hasn't come in yet. He is very loose. I really want to know what his game plan is.
Here comes Brad Fulham, it looks like, in the pit lane. He's a lap down, though. No concern there, really. What I am going to do is pull up some lap time comparisons. Since we saw the 42 pit, he's going to be bottom right of this. And Super, let's take a look at your top, well, was top 3. So Baumler and Kleba, they are first and second. Baumler last lap a 23.5. Kleba also 23.5, but a little bit faster. We're starting to see some more takers to the pit lane. Kyle Rochelle just pitted. And then you see Chase Durheim, 23.5 there. It's a little bit slower than Baumler and Kleba that lap as they hit fours. But then Cody Smith, more than a half second clear of those guys. 22.7 last time around. Not his fastest, but certainly faster than those other guys. He's going to make up a ton of time. And he's still within all the pit windows he needs to hit. Again, I think if you're Durheim, the time to pit has already passed. You've just lost 3 spots. Get those tires. Well, maybe not. There's the caution. Donald Kite, I think, in trouble.
Might have been a genius. So we're going to have a little blip.
Oh, here we go. It's stats. Front stretch. A ton of damage in the 77 car. And as usual,
laps down.
As usual, Super, we get shown that we don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I noticed that happens a lot. But mainly just to me. I feel like every time I say something, the exact opposite happens. I feel like I'm just gonna start saying the opposite of what I think.
So here's Joey Stats in the 77. I believe running a part-time basis. Obviously wants to have good runs when he's here, but not too concerned about it to my knowledge. Really bright brake rotors there on the left front there into turn 3. Off the corner, Brian Jones. Oh, he gets checked up, and Christenberry just tags him, turns him around.
Just an unfortunate set of results. It's just as simple as that.
We'll get one more look at it here for the Rural King Ford Taurus off of turn number 4. Just had to check up there for Brian Jones on the inside, tapped and into the wall, and that will be his day more or less done. I don't know that he's parking it completely, but he did tow it back to the pit lane rather than drive it back, as one will stay out. That is Craig Martin. Kleba wins the race off pit road, and this might be exactly what the field needed to get the better of Kevin Baumler. The 16, by the way, lost several spots. He is down to the 7th position now. Craig Martin will pit, so will put Kleba on top. My question is how?
What I think was interesting is at the end of the run, it looked like Kleba was gaining a little bit of time.
He was.
Yeah, he went from 0.7 to around 0.4 in a few laps. Maybe he could use some of that momentum. I think it might have just been a good stop.
And that's what I'm looking to see for Kleba. It was just about as fast as Baumler. So here's the run to the pit exit. Now, I think it's just the fact that Baumler's in that first stall. And honestly, I think this is one racetrack where it actually works against the pole sitter to have the first stall off pit lane. And unfortunately, in iRacing, you can't change that. You can't choose it. iRacing automatically puts you there. In real life, obviously, Baumler would have had the choice of what pit box he wants by qualifying first, and then on down the line. But of course, that's not the way it works in iRacing. So he is just kind of doomed to suffer this fate on pit stops now the rest of the day. It might help for green flag stops maybe, but certainly not for these caution stops if he's going to keep losing the lead in the pit lane. He was lucky that the first go around there was that penalty for Tucker. This time though, Kleba able to get the lead in the pits. Oh, here we go. 120 to go still, and then some as we're nearing halfway here at Richmond. Green flag back in the air at the action track. And immediately a dive to the inside from Vincent Arthur, and this race is now wide open.
Not a good start for the man who's led all race so far. It's going to be the first few laps he has not led, I believe. Actually, no, didn't Henry Oakes? Henry Oakes might have got a few when he stayed out, I think, right?
I think so, but yeah, for all intents and purposes, this is the first time that he's not in the lead.
Yeah. So now he's going to have to get used to this dirty air, and we're going to see if Kleba can pull away. We're going to find out if maybe he got all this advantage from that clean air. I doubt it, but clean air helps.
Clean air certainly does help, and I think that might have been part of it each time, launching, getting back out ahead by a little bit, but certainly he's got pace, just no longer has the track position that he wanted or had earlier on in the evening. So now Kleba taking over. He's starting to try and drive away from that 24 Vincent Arthur. I do think these two are the best on short tracks. Caution, Wayne Sparks. Oh, Dalton Tucker. I would still throw him in short track territory as well. I think those three are probably the best on short tracks that we've seen so far this season. But Wayne Sparks in trouble out of turn number 2. And, that race in 05, it had its fair helping of cautions, and we're starting to get a few now. As Watchers just barely tagged the 5, and I do mean just barely, but Christenberry got a full face full of that TV panel on that Chevrolet Monte Carlo.
That's the second time the 11 has gone through the back bumper and caused a wreck. Well, not caused it, but been involved in the wreck.
Yeah, kind of been the final...
Yeah. It wasn't intentional, but
certainly
the one that spun him around.
Been the final catalyst of somebody else spinning. I mean, that's just wrong place, wrong time, both times for Christenberry. Here's another look at it for the 5 of Sparks. He just kind of came down the hill a little bit. Watchers was trying to back out. Christenberry nowhere to go but into the 5 car, and Sparks backs it into the wall. That's that. Right at halfway as well. Good to see Paul Martin and LJ Hernandez checking into the YouTube chat. You know, Paul, this is a perfect time to ask you, if you're still watching, do you think we can get you into the Pit Stop TV Discord server, Paul? I mean, do we think we can get you into the server? Do we think we can get you into the fantasy game? Because we have added a fantasy game for NORA, for BRB, and ARN on Sunday mornings. And you can play along for absolutely no cost, completely free. You join the Whiplash Creative Fantasy game for these 3 leagues. There you see the info on your screen. You can join with the Discord link at the bottom there. You go to discord.gg, you should, I don't know exactly how the website looks these days, but you should be able to navigate to find a spot to put an invite link, or you can even do so in the Discord app, whether that's on your computer or on your phone, and type in that invite code. So the important part here is the 8D, capital N, capital N, capital X, 7, capital S, capital D, capital R, capital Q. That is the important bit of info there. And again, the standings here in the NORA side after last week at Darlington, they look like this with Zach Murtis on top. He's not here tonight. He let me know, by the way, that he had to go, and to be fair, this is repairing a bit of his inner childhood, I think. He is getting to watch currently Speed Racer in IMAX, and he is obsessed with Speed Racer. Admittedly, it's a pretty good movie. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I recall when I was a kid, I liked it. And he's getting to go kind of relive that, see it in theaters, and that's obviously very cool. But that's where Zach Murtis is tonight, so Super filling in here. But Super, you made a pick, he didn't, so maybe things even out for the two of you. Maybe when we get to the All-Star race next week, things are even, but here we go. The iRacing.com safety car pulls back down to the relative safety of pit lane. Nick Ham, the one lap car on the inside. Green flag back out, no pit stops up front. The problems are compounding for the 81 of Kevin Baumler, not able to get by Nick Ham in a hurry there. He has already lost a half second or so up to Vincent Arthur. And on the racetrack, that is a huge margin.
Yeah, that's just some of the chaos that comes with those lap cars being on the inside. First two were able to get past him really well. Unfortunately, Baumler just couldn't find anything. He started a fight back there. That lap car, I believe that's Ham, he started to hold him back. So here, Adams actually, he got a little loose right there, had to hop off the throttle.
And the wall, Brian Jones, 3 wide now through 1 and 2. Nick Ham down low, that's the lap car. Jones and Tucker for position, and that would be for 7th position, right behind Cody Anderson.
And Tucker, he's making his way up, fighting for 7th after that very early speeding penalty. What does that say about him?
A lot going on here within the top 10. A lot of storylines starting to build and add their own new chapter as this evening goes on. Let's take a reset here for just a moment. There are some battles going on. We'll keep them around the camera shot. Let's go Pit Stop TV sounds of the sim here for a moment. Scratch that idea. Somebody had the bright idea to spin around, and it seems to have been Caden Henry Oaks, and oh dear, he is missing the nose off that race car. He has hit something, or something has hit him.
Trying to look at the damage. Oh, well, there's the damage. It doesn't have a front bumper.
And here's a look at it for Caden. This is down to turn number 3, racing ahead of Kyle Tubb in the 32. A little bit loose on entry, and Tubb just got into him. Big overcorrection. And into the wall hard for Caden Henry Oaks.
That's racing. That's what he could have done.
No near miss here. Just flat in the outside wall, head on. And I dare say the 25 is out of it, certainly competitively, if not for the evening. Well, I see the response from Pa. And Pa, you can certainly still decline. But if I may educate a little bit here on the fantasy game for BRB, for NORA, for everything else. It's very simple. Now, I play fantasy football every year. Last year, I was in 4 different leagues. 2 of my own, 2 of friends of mine. And believe me, I get it. Fantasy football is complicated. Fantasy baseball and basketball, don't even get me started. I don't play those. I don't have enough time. Same for fantasy hockey. I can't keep up with all those games throughout the week. I can keep up with the one each week. But fantasy, in this sense, all you're doing is very simple. Super, you can go to bat here. Very simple. You get 3 groups of drivers. You pick 1 driver from each group. And then you pick the fastest lap driver and the winner. And that's it. Each week. The only real stipulation or, I guess, rule to keep track of is just that you can't pick the same drivers from the same groups each week. So, if you pick, say, Kleba, Arthur, and I don't know, to throw one out, Adams, for example, here this week, you cannot pick them next week. You just got to find different guys. That's really it. That is the one, rule that's finicky in any way. There's some drop weeks to keep you in it. If you have a couple of bad weeks or miss a couple, that's fine. We're going to have at least a couple of drop weeks. So it's very simple. I understand that, you hear fantasy anything and it sounds complicated before you even get started. But I promise, we list out the driver groups. A bunch of us will pick. It's all on the same channel. A bunch of us will pick. You can see how we set it up. You can ask questions, and we'll help you all throughout the process. Again, completely free to play. There are some things up for grabs, and of course, bragging rights up for grabs. Obviously, this appeals more to sim racers, but hey, even for a racing fan, TZO Designs is putting up a die-cast stand for the winner of the fantasy game here for NORA, for BRB, and for AARN. So definitely worth getting into, even for just a racing fan in general, as we get into the restart zone and get restarted here. Green flag once again for Dustin Kleba. Here we go. Caution already. Gladjulich in the 20, I think, is in trouble. Well, he's out on the grass at least. I don't think that's the source of it.
It's an expensive lawnmower.
Yeah. High-performance lawnmower. Hey, people do race lawnmowers across the country.
And it is the most fun racing, I'm going to be honest. I love lawnmower racing.
I'm not sure where this actually starts. It's like a stack up maybe. Skavnicki and Gladjulich really just did not get going. You see them all stack up. Wow.
It's the 3rd time the 11 has gone through the back of a car. It's kind of funny.
For us, perhaps. Certainly not for him.
Well, yeah, he's not enjoying it. But...
Jake Christenberry would have very different opinions, but let's see this. Skavnicki kind of slow to the punch, and then Gladjulich might have missed a shift there. They all pile in. He goes down through the grass. Christenberry got a big piece of it. I mean, this is just part of restarts, especially single file. One guy misses a shift or something, you're all in line, you're not supposed to move out of line. Very easy to have this happen, especially towards the back of the field. Like, Gladjulich's car just slowed down very suddenly. Kite, Tubb, Bettini, Watrous, they all get involved. Nick Ham, lucky to miss it.
Yeah, and all those cars at the back could have hit on the last stop, so... Right, and especially the 11, he wasn't doing too bad. He was up in the top 10 at one point, so that sucks for him.
Handful of drivers in the pit lane. Wayne Sparks, one of them. Brad Fulham, I believe getting a lap back, perhaps. There is Watrous going a lap down. Kyle Tubb going a lap down. Donald Kite going a lap down. All 4 repairs under this caution. And then Caden Henry Oaks, he's actually chimed in the YouTube chat, and he does not seem happy about the incident that took him out of today's race. Obviously, it is still early in his NORA career. He joined earlier today, got set up and able to race today, but I think as he gets to know these guys and gets some more races under his belt, that will ease.
You know, for a first race, literally showing up on the race day, he did a pretty good job, I think, you know, all things considered.
Next up for these guys, of course, the All-Star race next week. To check out some other broadcasts coming up for us here at Pit Stop TV, here's a look at them. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the next few days, we've got New Hampshire, then Knoxville, and VIR between the BRB Sundance Pro Series with ARCA cars, the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series with, well, Dirt Sprint cars, 410 Sprint cars, that is, at Knoxville, and then GT3s out there for the North American Racing League. The pros getting back at it at Virginia later this week. Some great racetracks, some great race cars, and tomorrow night is the BRB Race-O-Rama by Whiplash Creative. We've got cars, movie paint schemes on tap. It's going to be a lot of fun. Here we go. Restart zone once again. Cleva back to the power. Back under green. And one lap complete off the restart. The top three get clear. Mostly single file throughout the field, and caution is right back out. Wayne Sparks, it seems, may have been the cause of this one, and I'm not really sure how.
Well, it's more time to plug the fantasy.
Now you're getting it, Super. Now you're starting to understand TV.
Every time there's a caution.
Yes, every stoppage is a marketing opportunity. Well, here we go. Here's Wayne Sparks getting the green, disjointed from the field. And backs it around here in 1 and 2, into the wall first. Surprised that wasn't a caution. Then when he comes across the racetrack, that certainly is. And so that is what puts us under a stoppage once again, I suppose, if you want to pull up some FIFA terms. But as these guys lap around here again, and hey, you know what, Pa, great point about missing some races. Again, that's okay. We do also put out reminders, by the way, in the Discord chat. Maybe too many sometimes, but believe me, it's all for a good cause. Just trying to get guys involved in this fantasy game. But, you know, we'll have reminders, and so long as you set up push notifications on your phone with Discord, hey, we can get you a reminder, and you can play anytime.
Speaking of
there's
reminders,
drop weeks.
Yeah, speaking of reminders, I think I have to do the BRB now.
You do. I'm telling you, tomorrow night's going to be a cool race.
I haven't done it yet.
Well, there you go. It's perfect time to go do it, maybe under this caution. While you do so, I'll talk all about tomorrow's broadcast from New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the BRB Sundance Pro Series. Of course, we're here tonight for the NORA Retro Cup Series by Harpoon Design, but a lot of these drivers have started to cross over into BRB, and, well, we finally did something that I've been wanting to do, and we're having Cars Paint Schemes Go Racing tomorrow night. We will have some Lightning McQueen action. We will have some Doc Hudson action. We will have some Chick Hicks action. We have got many paint schemes being unveiled tomorrow. Best in Show isn't going to know what hit it. We might have to do 2 or 3 Best in Shows tomorrow and try to average them out or something. The MX Draft Best in Show is going to be pushed to its limits tomorrow evening. Cars Paint Schemes galore at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Of course, under this caution, we can thank our partners with the series. And first up, of course, Harpoon Design. 10 years of Harpoon Design here in 2026. Glad to be partnered up with Brantley Rodden, and a fantastic graphic and race car designer there. There's a lot of great work over at Harpoon Design. Sparks Builders, also a great part of this series, partnering up big time for this season's The 5 movement. We already saw that a few weeks ago at, oh gosh, what was it? Was it Talladega, I guess it was? Of course, Clark Contracting brings you every week's power rankings over here in NORA. And our partners, along with our channel, Whiplash SimCams, MXWraps.com, ATVO, Murder Esports, CC's Business, the North American Racing League, Whiplash Creative, and TZO Designs. Here we go, restart zone coming up one more time. Let's check this one out from the fan cam. Less than 100 to go. Green flag. And I can confirm, Super did go make his picks. He was not lying.
Yeah, well, I had the time to, so I had to.
Your front runner is trying to get by these slower cars here on the front stretch into turn number 1 now. 1 lap complete from the restart. That 40 of Watras, he's proven to be a pain in these guys' sides a little bit. He puts his 40 right in between Vincent Arthur and Kevin Baumler. That is usually frowned upon, but is technically protected under league rules. You know, he can fight for his own position. It's just going to annoy the leaders all the time he does it.
I think that's what makes it so fun.
Maybe. For
Knowing
us.
that he shouldn't. Yeah, well, for us. Yeah, Ballmer's definitely upset right now.
LJ Hernandez out in the YouTube chat. We'll be happy to see him back on the racetrack in the number 6 very soon. Glad to see he's been playing the fantasy game lately. In the wall, though, Josh Conover, big time into 1 and 2.
Still going to get a run on the exit, though.
These guys are all bunched up. Chase Durheim underneath of Brian Jones for 5th position. Of course, the 40 up the road still lapped. Just holding these guys back, kind of changing things up for them. As Kleba gets away with the race lead, he is just taking off. There's the runoff of turn 4, and then into turn 1.
There's another wall tap there I saw just before the camera changed. I'm noticing a lot of these drivers are really on the limit here. I have seen so many of them just slide loose or tag that wall just a little bit. It's really just impressive to see how much these guys are pushing and what they're willing to sacrifice.
I'm telling you, a big part of that is just how this racetrack is. I learned very quickly in my iRacing career this would be one of the trickiest tracks I ever race at. And that is still true. It is really tough. Unless you have a car or a setup that handles the exit of turns 2 and 4 perfectly, it's always going to be a little bit difficult here at Richmond. It's just the banking transition from banking to flat happens very quick off of turn 2. It's like a shelf, a cliff even, that you just drive off of. And suddenly you're on the flat back straightaway, and it's not too dissimilar out of turn 4, even though you keep the banking in the racetrack. It's just a transition that the car really does not like to handle. And it's going to be the same way at New Hampshire tomorrow. I'm surprised that we're going to New Hampshire. It's a racetrack that a lot of leagues avoid because we've seen so many issues there in past years. Just on iRacing in general, it's so tough to race at New Hampshire. The car likes to get really free off the corners, just like here at Richmond. It's the same kind of corner exit, honestly. And it just makes it really tough to race on, but BRB is taking it on tomorrow night. The BRB Race-O-Rama. I'm excited.
Me too. I know it's going to be a fun one to watch.
A handful of these guys are running it. Kevin Baumler, Josh Conover. Let me see. Looking through the field. Brady Moats, Ronnie Norman, Cody Smith.
It's going to be some good practice, you know, getting used to getting loose coming out of the corner.
Maybe a little. These cars just a little bit different from the ARCA cars they'll be in tomorrow. And you know what? That's a good point actually to bring up is this race car in general. These are the 2003 NASCAR Cup Series cars, and here's a look at the specs about them. This is the Gen 4 model of NASCAR Cup Series cars, so this is really, I think, what most people think of when they think of a stock car or a NASCAR Cup car. Raced from 1992 through 2007, and then lived on a little bit in the NASCAR Nationwide, and then the NASCAR, I guess really just NASCAR Nationwide series until the COT bodies took over there, and then also in the ARCA Menard series and the, at the time, K&N series, K&N Pro East and West, that then became ARCA East and West. So, I think this is what people think of when they think of a NASCAR, if you will, even though it's a NASCAR stock car. When the average person thinks of one, I think this is kind of where their mind lands. A bunch of horsepower, 900 horsepower, in fact, approximately 530 foot-pounds of torque, plenty of horsepower, and a lot of the same old themes that you'll find in stock car racing over the last 70 years. 3,400 pound minimum weight, 22 gallon fuel cell, all the good stuff. But boy, is it a lot to handle. Also, look at this. We are finally getting the 40 out of the way. Watchers finally gives in to the 45, 33, and the 3. Brian Jones on the outside of Cody Anderson and going backwards. Anderson up to 6th. Tucker through to 7th. Anderson loose.
Almost entering 3 wide. Jones decided pretty smartly to back out of that. Tucker trying to clear for 6th. Not going to be able to get it. Anderson trying to fight on that outside. The man who had a speeding penalty on the first pit stop has made his way back up to 6th, and he's trying to hunt down that top 5.
He started today in 2nd position, got the lead in the pit lane, passing Kevin Baumler on exit, but then got sent to the rear for speeding in the pits, has been clawing back ever since, and is 1 spot away from cracking the top 5. Similarly, Hunter Sr. got a moment where he stepped on it too. He spun around lap 1, went from the top 10 all the way down to 30th spot, and has been clawing back since. Oh, he's in it! He's in this crash in turn number 2, and it's a pretty hefty one. Several cars involved. I see 5 that came to slow or even a stop there out of turn 2. Brady Motes getting the worst of it, I think.
Yeah, that is not what any of these guys wanted to see. I feel like that might just be just part of this track. Richmond is just such an odd track where these kind of stuff can just happen.
There you see how it started. Brian Jones sent it up underneath the 33 and then parked it on exit. And I don't think Cody was expecting that based on how this went.
Yeah. That actually probably just like the bodies of the car.
Anderson got the wall into turn 1. That slowed him down big time. Jones went up underneath, parked it to try and turn the car, and Anderson just was not expecting it. You see them all pile in. Motes, Senior, Adams even just shoving their way through.
They came in hard right there at the end, especially the 8. Really hard contact.
See Adams there into the 40 into turn 1, and then all of this happens right in front of him. He slams into the 4, but Motes, I think really, as you said, had the hardest hit, and that knocked the left front completely off the 33 car. Look at that. Cody Anderson, he's junk.
He was having such a good day too. It's just unfortunate when this stuff happens.
It can go so wrong in an instant, and now pit stops. A lot of the field's already made him. Kleba first back out. He gets out ahead of Arthur and Baumler. There you saw Gladulech and Durheim in the pit lane. Actually, Durheim got out first. It looks like he took 2 tires.
It's definitely, it's one of those strategies, right, where you're choosing track position over, the much far superior tires. But I feel like at a track like this, where it is not the easiest to pass, that's not a horrible idea. I think, right, this could pay out for him really well.
Well, let's go ahead and talk to the driver. They'll be restarting behind Chase on this restart. Might not have a ton of time to chat with him, but Let's get a word at least with Dustin Cleveland before we get restarted here. Dustin, the car ahead, Chase, he just took 2 tires. I mean, have you done any testing like that? Do you know how that's going to handle for him?
I don't know. Why don't you go ask him and then let me know? Might need it at the end.
You know, I
haven't tried it, but we'll see.
I was planning to ask him. He's not in Discord, so next best, the guy right behind him. How scared are you on this restart on a factor of 1 to 10?
I'd say 6. Chase is a good guy. We'll see what happens.
Hey, best of luck, Dustin. And we've actually gotten the green flag a little bit soon. I'm not sure why. I'm hoping everything still works out. Yeah, it will. iRacing displayed the green flag awfully early on the backstretch, but we are racing again here. Chase Durham, 2 tires. Dustin Cleveland, everybody else has 4. We're back at it. Caution again. Josh Adams at 23 turned around off of turn number 2. Now this was an important caution, and this will be another important caution for these guys here, Super. These guys are just inside of that pit window to the end. So this is an important time to make sure you've got tires and fuel topped up. As in turns 1 and 2, Adams just came around to a slow, lazy spin, and that's that.
Yeah, just went in too fast. Nothing much else to say about it. It's just a simple spin.
New to the series, don't know much about him, but it's obviously unfortunate for Josh to have this happen. Has been in the top 10 earlier in the night. Didn't spend many laps there, it looks like, but has at least been up there as Chase Durham will stay out and continue to lead this field. This could be either a really good call or a really bad call, I feel like, for Chase Durham. And I'm curious what Vincent Arthur might have to say on it. So we grabbed 2nd place. Let's now grab 3rd and see what Vincent Arthur is thinking as we try to do this all over again. Of course, that was a quick restart and caution, but Vincent, at 16, 2 tires, of course, you and Dustin and everybody else on 4. How big of a difference do you think that's going to make as this run goes on?
Honestly, it depends how far we get in the the green flag run itself. I think the longer it goes, obviously the 4 tires pay it. They'll pay dividends, but 2 tires off the bat is going to be tighter, and these things fire off almost out of control, free, and then slowly build tighter and tighter as the rubber gets laid down. So I think it'll be good for the first 10-15 laps. I mean, I looked at my lefts and I feel like they were fairly weared, so it'll be interesting to see how long he does hold on. But yeah, I think it's going to take 15-20 laps for the 4 tires to kick in, unless Dustin just has that blazing short run speed that he showed last run.
And of course, that white and purple number 81 behind you led the opening stint of this race until you guys were able to pass him in the pit lane. How important is it to get those passes made in the pits, and how difficult is it to pass on the racetrack?
Oh, it's huge. The Hendrick Motorsports crew has been top tier tonight. The first stop was a little slow, but other than that, it's been great. And those are just easy positions you can gain. And with these single file restarts, you get a better chance to hold your track position. So, yeah, it is fairly difficult to pass. You really got to wait for the rubber to get laid down and for the track to widen out before you can really, move around and find a lane past somebody. So, yeah, if you can get them in the pits, that's the place. That's the best place to get positions.
Well, the cream is rising to the top. That does include Dalton Tucker, by the way. He's coming back. He's not far back. Best of luck.
Thanks, man.
Vincent Arthur, Dalton Tucker, they swapped the lead several times back at Martinsville earlier this season. I'm trying to get him back to his channel. I'm sorry. There we go. As we go back green. Chase Durham, the leader. Dustin Cleveland, 2nd. Let's see if they can make it this time. More lapped cars in with these leaders now. They can get that much more complicated on these restarts, Super. But Durham and Cleveland, what's not complicated here? They are nose to tail with Vincent Arthur lurking in the shadows. Dalton Tucker just outside the top 5. I think everybody in this top 8 is easily capable of winning. I think Rochelle and Skavnicki can do it as well. Honestly, this is maybe the best we could be asking for with about 70 to go. A bunch of great drivers out front.
Yeah, and right, you heard Arthur say it. Eventually, those four tires are going to kick in. I feel like Kleva is just going to want to get around Durheim as fast as he possibly can, so that he doesn't have to worry about wasting those four tires when they decide to click, when they decide to start working. And right, if he can build that gap to Durham in second, he's going to be able to build that gap to Arthur in third. And if he can get past him fast enough, I think Kleva might be our winner.
Time will tell. Still a lot of story left to be written here, as we are inside now of 65 to go. And you know, we talked about weather conditions earlier and how beautiful a night it was. The track has only warmed up as the ambient temp creeps lower and lower down the mercury. 75 degrees now in the air. It's dropped, what, about 4 or 5 degrees? Track temp was lowered.
I think it was around 80. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it was just under. That track temp even just came up a little bit. So, I mean, the air is cooling, the track is warming up, the action's heating up. In fact, Nick Ham, Brian Jones, great fight back here. Ham was a lap down a while ago. He has since clawed his way back onto the lead lap, and Jones, we've seen him towards the top 5, top 10 most of the day. Now he's back here trying to hang on to 13th.
I mean, yeah, definitely not where he wants to be. We know he has speed. Right now, he's currently fighting with Ham. I think by the end of this race, we could see him fight his way up to the top 10. Right? We know he has speed. We know he can get up there. We know he can do all this stuff that you need to do. I feel like he'll be in the top 10.
Up ahead, the 32 is a lap down. The 28 is for position, as is the 04. So Jones has no worries about that 32 on the inside. Kyle Tubb having an off day.
Speaking of off days, to no fault of his own, the championship leader. It's unfortunate. I noticed when I senior, he's 10 seconds back, already 3 seconds back from 21st. This is huge for the point standings.
It is and it isn't. I don't know that these guys have any drop weeks. I'm not sure on that, actually. It might not be part of this season. But I do know that he has nearly 200 points to fall back on. You know, he's not going to lose the points lead out of tonight, even if he finishes right where he is in 22nd. And that is the, I guess, luxury that you get to have when you've got 3 wins and you added all this cushion for yourself to fall back on. That's why you go and get all the points you can, right? So that you can fall back on those points when something bad like this happens. This is one of the first times he's been in a crash, I feel like, this season. Not the first time, but one of.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that wild card though. Arthur, right? He has a win. He needs to be within 400 points, and right now he's in third. All right, he could get that wild card spot.
I definitely think these guys are still kind of viewing it as a top 10, but it certainly will help the masses, right? For Senior to have a bad week and make that 400 point cutoff slightly more tangible. Slightly.
I just like thinking about the championship too much.
Hey, fair enough. Battle here, Nick Ham, Josh Adams, Brad Fulham, 15th, 16th, 17th. Bettini right behind for 18th. Watchers for 19th. Moats 20th, 21st, Gladulich. And up the road, you also see the 11 of Christenberry. This is the proper midfield right now. It is lit up. I mean, fantastic fights all through here. And, you know, we talk about the power rankings and the point standings all being close in certain little pockets and having those groups of drivers that swap positions left and right. This is one of them right now, but in live action on the racetrack, you're seeing it. You're seeing just this mass of cars trying to figure out who the heck is going to get through the fastest and maybe have a chance to go chase the leaders.
Yeah, but they are holding themselves up a little bit. It's the 2-second gap to the top 10. I get that they all want to battle for spots, but they're just losing time.
They are losing time, but that's part of the game, right? You still have to fight for positions at some point. And I think we do preach kind of give and take and, mostly give a lot. And is it really worth it to fight for certain spots? But eventually, you do have to start going to battle for the position you're running and the positions ahead that you want to gain. So I think at some point, and now that we're inside of 60 and soon to be inside of 50 to go, I think these guys can start to just focus on getting all the positions they can. To heck with where the leader is, just focus on getting what you can on the racetrack. Try to finish as highly as possible. It's really all you can ask of a driver, as Jones a little free into turn 1 that time. Very slightly. And we're starting to pick up for the race lead as well. Look at this. Durheim through the middle. Kleva way high on exit.
It's those 4 tires.
Watch this run off of turn 2. And Kleva going to take it down low. Attic to basement on the 16. Looking for daylight underneath that Ford. And Kleva, no dice that time. Chase Durheim, by the way, I think we've been preaching a lot about how good certain guys are that have already won. Durheim, I feel like, is someone that is grossly overdue for a win, as caution is out. It was right in that battle we were looking at previously. Christenberry around on the front straightaway.
Do you think he drove through the back of someone?
I certainly hope not. Here's a look at it. Between Jones and Adams just gets up into him and spins him right around. That was
do you
another...
think this helps? Do you think this helps Durham, or does it hurt him? That's the question.
Oh, man, I don't know. It's another heat cycle on the tires. It brings, third and fourth a little bit closer. Obviously, the goal is the win. That's a really good question. I suppose it depends on if these guys end up pitting or not. Because if he's been able to hold on to this track position now with these tires, and look at this, they are pitting. I was going to say, if they do pit now, he can try and take 4 and hang on to this track position. Or, the question is now, has he opened Pandora's box? Do we see more 2-tire stops?
I mean, we saw it, right? He started losing a little bit to Kleva at the end, but he was able to hold that gap. I could honestly see like 2 or 3 drivers risking it.
Let's see what happens here on exit. Baumler into his box. There goes Kleva, 2 tires down and away. He'll be joined, it looks like, by Baumler and by Tucker. Heads up calls. Dead heat between the 16 and 24, who take 4. Guyless and Ham take 2. Oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah, Kleva got that first-hand experience of what 2 tires can do. That might have influenced his decision.
There's that run out of the pit lane. He was solo there. Baumler able to win the race off, just barely over the 3. And then Vincent Arthur right there to the line. I mean, it was that close. And the line they're looking at, by the way, iRacing, is the green cones. Let's see, do we actually have a good camera on it? Kind of, not really. Let's see it from here then. Wait for the 24 to launch. Let's slow it down in a second. It's the green cones, not the later line. So the green cones right there between the 16 and 24, it is a matter of inches. That close. The 16 gets it.
Wow.
And so this kind of resets everything. Kleva now has the advantage, but on 2 tires, along with Baumler. Oh, how the turns have tabled. And I was just getting ready to say, by the way, that Chase Durheim is a driver who is grossly overdue for a win this season. He's dominated multiple races, at least 2 or 3. Certainly been one of the drivers to beat. Early going, and then something always feels like it goes wrong, or he just gets straight up beat. And, I think he should probably be higher in the standings. And that said, I mean, he's what, 3rd, I think? Yeah, 3rd coming into tonight, and I still feel like he should be higher. He has been so good. just doesn't yet have a tally in the win column. Maybe he can change that here tonight at Richmond. But here we go, restart zone. Dustin Kleba alongside Donald Kite, who's a lap down. Green flag is back out. We're racing again. 45 to go at Richmond. And caution is back out. Ronnie Norman up in the air.
Oh my God.
The
Oh my
7
God.
lands back down on all 4 wheels, but he went skyward there briefly.
Oh my God.
See it here. I think it happens ahead of him, maybe with Cody Smith into the 88 of Ham. And Norman followed. He got loose too under braking. Skinner got him, and then here comes, boom, the 10. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, he just
Scooped
tried
him
to
right
slow
up.
down. He saw it. Just locked up the tires. Down he went.
So Cody Smith backs it into Ham there to kind of kick this off. He spins around, but really the star of the show is Ronnie Norman. Boom, right there off the right front of Bettini, and the 10 is destroyed out of that, it looks like. Well, the damage
Off the hood.
re-rendered. It came back. He actually might be okay. It was kind of a glancing blow, and the damage was dramatic at first, but you know how iRacing likes to be. It likes to re-render damage a second later. And that
Got a flip for the
seems-
dramatic.
Yeah, seems to be what happened there to Bettini. Also, Fulham was in the wall on the outside lane. Let's see what happened there to the 91 car. He was ahead of Gladulich on the restart. And I think he also just got loose. Sure enough, I think these guys are starting to race a little bit harder here, Super. You know, we're inside of 50 to go. There are some guys taking 2 tires. Maybe they're cranking a little bit more rear brake into the car, trying to get it to turn. But as Vincent Arthur said, these cars fire off, these tires fire off real loose, real free. And so rear brake is your enemy right now. You want to pump some front brake into it, calm the car down, get through a few laps, and then start to race. And, well, we'll see if these guys take one approach or the other here soon. You know, I see Chris Winstone in the YouTube chat calling this race chaos. Super, you and I know. This is not chaos yet. We have seen chaos, and this is not it yet.
If this were to turn into Phoenix, that'd be crazy.
Which Phoenix? BRB Phoenix?
BRB, definitely.
I was going to say, NORA Phoenix went caution-free.
Yeah, well, we almost went caution-free at BRB. Well, we had 1 caution early on, and then went into craziness at the end.
Yeah, it all came unhinged there at the end. There you see the CC's Business race stats, bottom right of your screen. 10 cautions, this is the 10th. And that is kind of high, but you know what? For 200 laps complete this time by at Richmond, that's really not that bad. And it hasn't felt that bad. They've been kind of evenly spaced. So we run for a little bit, have a few, run for a little bit, have a few. But being that we are right down here to the nitty-gritty, 200 complete this time, 40 to go. I would not be surprised if we have a few more in our future. Here we go. Green flag on the way. Dustin Kleba with Wayne Sparks underneath as the lapped car. Kevin Baumler got right to his bumper. That holds the 81 up. And the 9 gets the hole shot to turn 1. Sparks going to bring his Chevrolet down to the attention of his crew. Kleba, Baumler, Tucker, your top 3. And the comeback is complete, by the way, for the 3 car. Back into the top 3 now, under some green flag laps. There he is. You see, he's been as low as 28th spot after a speeding penalty earlier. This is a huge full circle moment for the 3 car here. But he's on 2 tires, so I'm a little bit concerned about that. You see the 10-second pit time. That's indicative of 2 tires versus 4. I'm a little concerned about that if we do go green for any length of time. Durheim, though, he's back on 4 along with Arthur and everybody else. Well, Arthur and Conover. Guylis and Hammer still on 2. And then everybody else, Rochelle on back, is on 4.
Now, the thing is that for the 4 tires, right, I'm worried because, right, there's Tucker, Balmer, and Kleba ahead of them. right? Just fighting with those guys could hurt his tires, or you know, it could also, right, hold him up for an extra bit of time. It's a really big risk.
Frankly, signing into a race at Richmond is a big risk.
That,
It doesn't
yeah.
matter the field, the car, the time of day, the setup. Signing into a race at Richmond is already a big risk. So I think these guys are okay taking a risk or two here. As we hit 35 to go.
Yeah, and actually that I was looking at the restart last time, and it was very lucky that caution came out, because there were those cars on the inside, those lap down cars. They really held up that inside line. And if that caution wouldn't have came out, I think Cleva would have been a second ahead by the first 2 laps, because they were held up by those lap down cars. That's a very lucky caution.
Nearing 30 to go. Chase Durheim putting some pressure here on Dalton Tucker. Remember, Durheim's got 4, Tucker's got 2. Oh, and Tucker's loose. Watch out.
Durheim had to avoid, though.
Great catch by both drivers. By Tucker not to loop it, by Durheim not to hit him.
Just phenomenal save, great reflexes from a great driver. All right, and it's as we were saying earlier, right? He's been a great driver, but something just happens to him every race.
Looks to the inside again here on Dalton Tucker. That will be a good move to the inside. Gets the nose ahead, about half the car ahead out of turn 2, but Tucker brings it back with the outside lane, gets the wall, does the 3 car. And now Durheim goes back to work on the bottom lane through 3 and 4. It's just so tough to pass down there, so easy to defend on the outside, and you see that. Tucker able to get right back around.
He's trying to peek down the inside now over 1 and 2. He's just trying to find any way to go around. He's going to get a little bit of a run, peek on that inside, slightly loose. He's going to lose that time. He's going to try on the inside again in 3 and 4. But again, just can't get the run.
I will say, there is no bumping and running here tonight, I don't think. These bumpers do not line up. These cars are super sensitive. And even the mid-corner speeds, you know, Martinsville, you get down about 60 miles per hour, give or take, 5 to 10 miles per hour. But here at Richmond, just around 90 miles per hour. You know, you're going 30 miles an hour faster in a similar styled corner in the same car. It's a little bit trickier. The car is a little more on edge. Certainly aerodynamics matter a whole lot more. You bump somebody at Richmond, you're likely wrecking them. Unless you've got, the COT or the ARCA car or something with a flatter bumper that's just kind of going to move a guy and not completely shift the weight of his car. Here in these Gen 4s, the nose does not line up with the rear bumper. It digs underneath the rear bumper, acts like a shovel, picks the rear of the car up, puts all the weight on the nose, immediately spins the guy out. And that is why we all wanted the Speedway nose when we got this car, and thank God we got it. Super Speedways in the old Gen 4 here on iRacing with the scoop nose that would just pick the rear bumper up was not fun. The fix was put in later on to simulate the Speedway nose, and then with this car we finally got the Speedway nose, which, if you don't know, back in the early 2000s, there were multiple templates for each track they went to, but particularly between super speedways and everything else, and super speedways had the taller front bumper so that the bumpers would actually line up, and you could actually bump draft a little bit when we got to Daytona or Talladega. I digress, though. Battle for 5th. Teammates Arthur and Conover. Conover fresh off the win at Darlington.
Yeah, they were battling a little bit earlier, I believe, with Durham. I don't remember how long ago it was, but that was the reverse position with Conover ahead of Arthur. Now, all 3 of these guys right back together again, although Durham, right, he is on those 4 fresh tires. Here's Arthur with a big run. At what point do you think Durham is going to try the outside? Because he's been on the inside for the past 10-ish laps. At what point is he going to try it?
Well, I almost said right there as Arthur poked underneath him. I think if you've run 200 and some laps running the bottom here, you're likely married to that inside line. You're not going to move around too much, but you see Arthur Conover, they're going all the way up the racetrack using all the pavement. I recently taught Chris Winstone, actually, that in NASCAR-style road racing, if it's gray, it's okay. Use the entire surface. Well, that's what these guys are doing here on an oval. A short oval, for that matter. 3/4 of a mile as Conover gets his nose ahead and clears the 24 to turn 1. That is for 5th position. Battles happening deeper. How about Moats and Gladulach here? This is for 15th. Up the road, you've got Jones, Christenberry, Ham, and some others. And Super, we are coming right up on 20 to go. It's going to happen quick. Let's go ahead and get him out of the way. North American Racing League Driver of the Day picks. Who do you have?
I have Tucker. You know, that big mistake on the first pit stop of the day, going all the way down to the back of the pack, was heartbreaking and crushing. But he clawed his way back up. He came back to 3rd place, potential at maybe a second or even a win if things go right for him. And that's really just what you want to see out of a driver, that ability to pick yourself up, that ability to say, all right, I can do this even though I made a mistake. And, I mean, it's just, right, he might have lost a position because he started in 2nd, but it's just been an overall impressive race for him.
Who you got for your 2nd pick?
2nd pick, you know what? Why don't you have some picks while I ponder about it?
That's all right. I've got my 2 locked and loaded. They are kind of gimmies, though. They're the top 2, actually. Dustin Klima, because frankly, here he is, 20 laps away from the end. He's led 80 laps now with that trip across the start-finish line, and well, he certainly looks poised to win a 2nd race this season. He's missed a few races that's buried him in the standings, but it's hard to look past a performance like tonight. You know, started 6th, worked his way up, got the lead in the pit lane, and has not looked back. And you know, starkly different for Kevin Baumler. He started out front, led 110 laps, caught a caution at the wrong time. Now he's behind, trying to catch back up and get the lead back away to try and win his first race of the season, which I think would be a little bit of a long shot, right? Kevin, I mean, he has been fantastic today. He has not done anything wrong. Sometimes you just get beat, and sometimes you're good and you still get beat. That just might be the case for Kevin Baumler today.
All right. Well, now that we're back to me, I know he did just get passed, but I might have to go with Durheim. He had a great race. That two tire gamble, it almost paid off. A couple unlucky cautions. You know, he is starting to fit a little bit more now, but I mean, I feel like, you know, he took a risk. It was a bold risk. It's what you have to do if you want to win a race. And it's, right, it might not have paid off, but that's just right now. He's had a great rest of the race, I think.
I think Dalton Tucker might be the best pick just because of the comeback, but I think the other 3 are solid ones as well. As there you go, pass between Tucker and Baumler. Those tires starting to wear out for Baumler. Tucker doing okay with the 2 tires, but Josh Conover is moving through in a hurry. He's looking for 3rd on the inside here. We're inside of 15 to go. It'll be 13 at the line, and Conover wants a spot in the top 3. He's going to barely not have it at the line, but give him a lap or 2. I think he's got the 81 covered up, and yeah, dives right on by in turns 1 and 2.
It's going to force the 81 to check up a little bit. Arthur will also have to check up. It's just going to hold on. Arthur trying to look a little high. Can we see a run? Conover a little bit loose coming out of 4th from the looks of it. But here's that battle for 4th. 1 outside of the podium. Side by side, going to get the exit as Arthur. He will get clear of Baumler.
And so now those 2 tires are starting to fall back for the 81, but we still have 2 tires in 1st and 2nd. 11 to go that time for the 9 car. He's got 2.4 seconds back to Josh Conover. I think he's got plenty of racetrack, but I've seen crazier things happen. 11 laps to go. Fading 2 tire call. I don't know. And we could still always see a caution. as Conover tries to hunt these two down. There he is, now chasing the 3 of Tucker.
Trying everything. I wish I think Tucker might be, and Tucker's not gaining enough, you know, to really reel down Kleba in time, but he's gaining a little bit. He was 1.9 at the line a few laps ago. I want to see what he is now. Yeah, around 1.79, 1.8. So maybe if a caution comes out and he's closer, he could have a shot.
There you see top 4 lap times. Kleba that lap a 23.070. Tucker 23.028. You know, Conover and Arthur, they were faster, but barely.
Right. We're kind of just looking at hypotheticals now, like what happens if a caution comes out. And I think if a caution doesn't come out and Kleba can just keep it clean, it's going to be an easy win.
Battle now between Baumler and Durheim, this for 5th position, so a spot in the top 5 at stake. I don't know what went wrong for the 81 car. Fired off so good today. And as this race went on, of course, he got passed up in the pit lane. That just kind of put him behind a little bit. And this 2-tire call, I think, just not working out for him. It has gone the wrong direction, and you can tell he's pushing through the corner right there. Dustin Kleba, though, the opposite end of 2 tires. He is leading the race, 1.5 seconds. Conover starting to fire up here. He's starting to make up some time, but I think it's going to be a little bit too little, a little bit too late, unless we have a caution.
Yeah, and right, you can see Kleba is fighting with a lap car, but I really don't think it'll be enough.
Nearly identical between the top 3. The top 2 were identical, 23.192 each.
That's down to the millisecond. As Conover trying around the outside of Tucker. He has a run peeking down the inside, really try it? No, just going to stay behind. I think he might understand that second's the best he's going to get, so he's going to try and wait for the right time to make his move.
I feel like
he's going to make it, he's going to have to make it.
I feel like if you're Conover, as soon as you get a nose alongside the 3, you just got to take it. It could take multiple laps to make that pass.
Oh.
If you can get an overlap, take it. And that time he got loose, lost a bunch of time. Gonna dive back on the outside as you see Kleba's searching for grip as well. Conover in the wall there. He's beating himself right now. He is slowing himself down.
Speaking of the wall, Arthur really snagged it. Coming out of 2.
By the way, Baumler for sure down to 6th. Durheim has gotten past and clear. Rochelle now coming up. He's 7th. Wow, this might not work out. Big time checkup for the 48. It was 2 to go that time, and that, I think, has put a blanket on it. Here you go, off of turn number 4. The white flag is out. Brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams for Dustin Kleba. 3/4 mile to go. As Nick Ham is around on the front stretch, we stay green. White flag.
It was a huge strategy call to get him in this position. He took 2 tires after getting a first-hand experience of what 2 tires can do for you. And now he's entering 3 and 4, looking for a win.
And he will get it. Dustin Kleba, another short track win for the number 9. And he keeps the 9 in Richmond Victory Lane here in 2005. It was Casey Kane in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. Today, it's Dustin Kleba in the NORA Retro Cup Series by Harpoon Design. What a win here for Dustin to grab. Of course, I mentioned earlier he's missed a few races. He's been buried in the standings as a result. This is a great way to start putting the pieces back together. He is 16th coming into today. This is sure to get him a whole lot closer to that cut line.
Great overall performance.
There you see the celebration for Dustin Kleba. A job well done. I don't think it's the most laps led, but it is a healthy portion and a whole bunch of points.
It's a great strategy call too, so you know he's going to be feeling confident, knowing that his decision, right, allowed him to get that win.
Chase Durheim actually picked him to win this race. How fitting is that? A handful of drivers picked him just on their teams. LJ Hernandez picked him to win. Looking through some more picks. So at least a couple of guys will get the payoff from this guy winning here at Richmond. Dustin Kleba, another one to add to the season. And again, that's his second. That's now the third for the Evernham camp. Throw in Brian Jones in that mix. And we will take a look back at your unofficial race results when it's all said and done. For 240 laps here at Richmond Raceway. What a drive out of Kleba. Let's go back a little bit farther here and in slow-mo, but a huge, huge day for the number 9. I think a lot of great guys got a lot of great points out of this. And here are your unofficial race results. Dustin Kleba on top, 98 laps led. Started from 6th. Able to get the win over Dalton Tucker and Josh Conover. Conover, 2 podiums in a row now, as he won at Darlington and finishes 3rd here tonight. Vincent Arthur 4th. Chase Durheim hangs on for a top 5. Kevin Baumler, it's the race that just simply wasn't for him. He led those 110 laps early. Absolutely perfect that opening stint. Really opening half of the race nearly. Lost the lead in the pits, and from there it was just a snowball effect. A slow snowball, a very gradual hill, but it eventually snowballed, caught him, and took him down to 6th position. Kyle Rochelle, I think that's a really big day for him. And really, the next 3, Rochelle, Watrous, Guileless, they were nowhere to be found in the top 10 early in the day. Look at them hanging on, getting top 10 results. I don't know that anybody had them in fantasy today, but let me tell you, that would have been a really heads-up pick by anybody for either one of those 3 to get a top 10 here today. And Cody Smith hangs on for a top 10 as he tries to get his season back on track.
11th, Jake Christenberry. There were 3 notable incidents that I at least counted where he went through the back of another driver, and that brought out a caution. So bringing it home in 11th, despite being involved in all that, very impressive. Brady Moats, he was part of that hard hit where a lot of drivers were collected off of turn 2. Brian Jones, John Skanky, Hunter Sr., Hunter Sr., the championship leader, down at 15th. That's right. He's still going to have a healthy lead, but it's unfortunate. Jacob Gladulich, Jared Skinner, Kyle Taub are the top 18, and then Dominic Beniti and Nick Ham will round out your top 20.
And finishing back in 21st, we'll take a look there at Josh Adams, Ronnie Norman. Both those guys 1 lap down, Donald Kite 2 laps down, Wayne Sparks 4 laps down. It just got from bad to worse and worse and worse for the 5 of Sparks tonight. Brad Fulham 25th. And that begins your string of drivers who did not finish this race. Fulham, Anderson, Martin, Oaks, Stats, and Blackwell. And notice as well, that is most of the owner points only drivers, right? They were here to try and get something. It didn't work out. They end up at the very back of the field tonight. I mean, there are a couple other guys higher up that are also for owners points. Adams, one of them. Throw in Watrous in 8th, Guileless in 9th. But that is your lion's share, certainly, at the back of the field. Just not at all how they wanted their evenings to go. But the driver points, guys, that certainly works out for them. And I did want to take a look back at what happened to Nick Ham as well. I don't think this is the white flag yet. No, it's not. So bear with me a moment to cue this up. But we will take a look at what happened to the 88 car here in just a moment. Or at least try to. This, I think, is after the checkers. We'll go back just a little bit farther. And that is mid-spin. So let's go 1 click farther back. You see him park it there on the bottom of the racetrack. And here you go. This might have been teammate on teammate crime here as they were getting the white flag. Scavnicki underneath Ham. And sure enough, contact between the two. Just as the leaders were trying to take the white flag. Wow. There's the leader of Kleba. There's the white flag. And race control did no favors to the 88. It changed things at Kansas yesterday, but not today here at Richmond.
I'll tell you, Kluba's very, very happy a caution didn't come out from this.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably going to be a conversation point at the team meeting, but
yeah, something like that. Of course, Cody Ware spun right as leaders were coming to get the white flag yesterday at Kansas in the NASCAR Cup Series, and that prompted a caution that completely changed the result of the race, frankly. I think it was Hamlin's race to lose, maybe to Reddick, but then Reddick gets the win over Larson when at the white flag it looked like Larson might have had it. It was just a crazy, crazy finish. Go back and watch it. But Dustin Kleba able to get the win here today, and certainly, again, this is in commanding fashion, I'd say. None of these guys have moved up for interviews, so bear with me a moment, but the 9 certainly did lead a bunch of laps, and I think solidifies him as one of, if not the better short track driver. Let's bring in Dustin Kleba. We talked to him earlier, and Dustin, another short track win for you. First it was Bristol, now it's Richmond. It's like you're collecting infinity stones.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider short tracks being my forte either. So I don't know. We'll take it. I think sometimes, most of the time in this sport, especially in this league, when everybody's so close to each other, it's better to be lucky than good. I think Bristol, we got super lucky with the way the cautions fell there, or I should say the way the green flags fell. That was mostly caution. And this one we got super lucky. I was able to watch Chase hang on there with 2 tires, and I followed him for probably 15 laps, and he was able to keep pace. So that gave me the confidence I needed to take 2 at the end there and get that track position and hang on there for the end.
I'll be honest, when we talked to you earlier about the 2-tire call for Chase Durham, I did not think that it was going to work out very well, and yet here we are. You won on 2 tires. Does that change maybe your approach to other races this season? Super made a great point actually earlier. We come back here to Richmond for the Chase cutoff race to make the field of 10 that will fight for the championship later on in August, September, whatever it is. So is this something that you're going to put in the back of your mind for that race?
Yeah, for sure. We really learned a lot during this race, and really Darlington. Darlington, we kind of noticed that there was a lot of fall off at the beginning of the run, and then it kind of tapered, and then you're pretty consistent from halfway through the run to the end. And we somewhat noticed that here today, and I'll tell you what, probably the biggest game changer is I think iRacing did a update where you pick up rubber under caution now. And man, when we were having all those cautions, the track got super, super clean and really, really fast. So that was kind of the first time I had noticed that effect actually do something and actually feel it. So that's going to be something we're all going to have to keep in the back of our head.
And of course, the All-Star race next up, kind of a break from you guys as far as championship thinking goes, but going to be some fun. What are you looking forward to as far as I think the format and everything is going to be the same for more or less as 2005, but maybe some word about some engine power adjustments.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the best part about the All-Star is the qualifying, being able to fly down pit road, no speed limit. It looks like a blast in person, and it is a blast to do here on iRacing. So I look forward to it every single year. I'm thrilled that Josh does it every single year, and the rest of the admins help out. It's just an absolute riot. Even if you completely whiff it and miss your box by about 6.5 straightaways, it's still pretty fun. So yeah, looking forward to that. It does sound like that there might be some power adjustments, so might unleash these things a little bit more and even have to focus on that right pedal just a little bit more than normal.
Well, there you go. Forget getting homework done for the Charlotte points race the week after. It's maybe time to have fun in the All-Star race next week. Dustin, congratulations on the win tonight. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Appreciate everything you guys do. Broadcast kicks butt every single week. Thanks to Harpoon Designs. I know they're a big factor in getting you guys in here. it seems like every time I'm watching a YouTube video, whether it's a random league or top split, I always see that Harpoon Design logo out there. So they know what they're doing, and they put out some good stuff. So everybody out there, make sure you check them out. Yeah, again, thanks to you guys for putting on a great broadcast. Thanks to the admins for dealing with all of our malarkey. Huge shout out to Chase. He did a great job tonight. And Kevin, man, Kevin was quick. It was just so tough once you lost track position. Once you lost that lead in the clean air, it was hard to get it back. So pretty much anybody who was running up front was doing a great job and not making mistakes and all that good stuff. Yeah, I had a blast, but I guess when you win, it's typically really fun. So thanks to my family that watches every single week. Also special, this was Casey's first win. So I was going to run his red paint scheme and completely forgot. So just watch the replay and imagine I'm red and not white. But yeah, pretty cool to get a win here when he first got his first win too. So Casey, I know you're watching. I know you won't text me back or answer my emails or my fan mail or when I knock on your front door, but it's fine. I know you're watching anyway. Yeah, I think that's it.
Well, did you make sure to wish him a happy birthday on April 10th?
Oh, did I? Oh, of course. Yeah, wished him a happy birthday, sent him a cake. I actually sent a birthday llama to his door. Still waiting to hear back his feedback on that one. Not sure he liked it, but I don't know. We have a weird relationship. It's quirky.
That is a creative touch, certainly, from the potential driver of the day as well, if he's leading that vote. Dustin, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations, and again, hopefully we're talking to you next week.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Dustin Cleveland, he's got jokes here this evening. Second place, though, goes to Dalton Tucker, the number 3. Boy, what an eventful day it was for him, Super.
Yeah. The man who started in second, ends in second after a very chaotic race. Dalton, can you run us through specifically the pit stop penalty?
Well, you see, I think I got a little over eager trying to beat Cavan off pit lane, and there's a thing called a pit speed limit, and I just disregarded it, and yeah, I'm not gonna say it ruined my race, but it definitely made it a whole lot harder.
Well, at least that's not something you're going to have to worry about next week on the All-Star race, but at least for qualifying. But how did you feel climbing back up through the pack, right? Making all those moves to bring your way back up to second place.
Yeah, I knew I had the speed in order to win. It's very hard when you're behind people. You're kind of, the air is affecting you, makes the center of the corner tight, so it affects your drive off. And I kind of picked up on certain things coming through the pack, and it works when the guys are a little slower, but you get up front and it's very hard to pass. It was really just a strategy game at the end, and maybe a lap or two more. I think Vinny and Josh probably would have ended up getting around me, but clean air was king, which y'all have seen all season long this year, that clean air is everything in these cars, and it affects the center of the corner all the way to the exit. So it's a game within a game, that's for sure.
Yeah, you were talking about Conover. What were your thoughts as he was trying to hound you down on those final laps?
I hate to say it, but I was just mirror driving the whole time, and I was either gonna make him wreck me or he's gonna have to go to the high side. And luckily, it never came to that. But he was definitely a whole lot faster at the end.
Yeah, well, congrats on getting second. It was a great result, great comeback drive. I really hope to see more out of you, to see hopefully a few more wins. I want to see you up on the top. I really like the race you had today, and you just did a great job.
I appreciate it, and give a shout out to Tasmanian Devil for being on the car this week. I did it kind of as a joke because my internet connection has been all over the place, kind of like he is, and unfortunately my race tonight was all over the place, so I'm gonna have to get me a new paint scheme for the All-Star race, and hopefully that one brings me a little bit more luck.
Yeah, well, good luck for that race. I'm not gonna have the Tasmanian Devil on it, so hopefully
we
it should
get
be
the
better.
Peter Max colors on that 3, Dalton. That'd be nice.
Hey, you can't spoil everything.
Uh-oh. Well, hey, a creative approach to the interview for Dustin Kleba, an even more creative race, I think, from Dalton Tucker today. Congrats, Tucker, on second place.
All right, appreciate it, y'all.
Definitely a big fight back for him, and certainly, I think, a satisfactory result when you look at the day as a whole. But as for Josh Conover, after the win last week at Darlington, I don't think this is a disappointment, Josh, but maybe not the success you were hoping for.
Yes and no. Considering this is probably my worst track in this car combo, I'll definitely take it.
Yeah, definitely still, I think, a success overall. It's, a third place effort, a lot of points, but I guess if you say this is one of your worst racetracks, I asked Dustin a similar question. What can you put in the back pocket for September when we come back here for the Chase cutoff race?
Be more aggressive, I guess. I think if I knew what I was doing a little bit more here, I probably maybe could have gotten at least the Dalton's quarter panel and maybe actually raced him for it. I just caught the 10 at a bad time. Actually didn't even really pay attention to where he was running before we got to him, and then I entered one and he was right in front of me, so I kind of lost some ground there. But yeah, I don't know, just kind of, I guess, figure out what they do and try and learn from it, I guess.
And of course, the All-Star next week, you are, well, league owner here. So is there anything you can spoil for us for the All-Star race next week?
Well, Dustin won tonight, so no new additions to the actual All-Star field. The Open is just going to be everybody that obviously isn't qualified. I'll have a fan vote now that I know nobody else qualified. I'll have that up and posted for the fan vote guys. You seem excited for the qualifying for the actual All-Star main event. The guys that are locked in will do the, I guess you could say, ahead of its time style qualifying, where we fly down pit road at Mach 200 and try and make a 4-tire pit stop. We're going to add some power to it. And I'm talking with my real life truck guru guy, and I think I told you last year we did like a half open set. I know some guys will probably hate it, more like Dustin and Brian and Dalton, but we're probably going to do that just that way with the added power, guys can adjust and tweak on a little bit without going full open setup. That way nobody's paying for full setups.
So some big details for next week's All-Star race. Well, Josh, good to talk to you. Congratulations on still a good day here. Third place to back up the win. That's always a good way to do that. So hopefully we're talking to you soon, and I'm excited to see what we do next week.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
There you go. Josh Conover with a big day here at Richmond Raceway. A big night, I should say. Super third place under the lights. One of our first, I think maybe our first true nighttime race of the season. So good to see these guys under the lights this evening, changing things up, and certainly all thanks to Harpoon Design, Sparks Builders, Clark Contracting, and NORA. And a big thank you to our partners as well: Whiplash Simcams, MX Wraps, ATVO, Murtis Esports, CC's Business, the North American Racing League, Whiplash Creative, and TZO Designs. That driver of the day vote has ended, and I don't think this will be any surprise, but it will be the number 9, Dustin Kleba, who gets the honor of being today's North American Racing League driver of the day in the NORA Retro Cup Series here at Richmond. I think that's a great pick. I think maybe Dalton Tucker is a slightly better pick for the comeback, but he also did that to himself, so you know what? Dustin fought up from 6th to the win. Definitely deserving.
Yeah, he just had a great race, great strategy call at the end. He absolutely deserves this driver of the day.
Well, next up for these guys, you see Charlotte is next after Richmond, but We will be all-star racing next week before we go points racing at Charlotte the week after. So a little bit of time yet before these guys go points racing again. It'll be all-star break next up for these guys, then Charlotte, Dover, Pocono on down through the list there in your middle column. Thanks so much for watching this evening. It has been a pleasure as always. And before we go, here's a look at what's upcoming for us here at Pit Stop TV one more time. For the North American Racing League Thursday, the Dirt Sprint Cars Championship Series Wednesday, and especially the BRB Sundance Pro Series tomorrow night. Picks are open for the fantasy game over there. Make sure to hit up the Pit Stop TV Discord and take a look through. Make your picks for tomorrow's race. Gonna be a lot of fun. New Hampshire, the BRB Race-A-Rama, a bunch of cars themed paint schemes on track tomorrow night. I am excited for it. And then, of course, Knoxville Wednesday and VIR Thursday, the weekend off here before we go All-Star Racing next Monday. Once again, thanks so much for watching. It's been myself and Super on the call this evening. It's been a super time having you here. It's been a lot of fun. So hopefully we get back to it with Zach soon, but I know it's his birthday next week, so happy birthday to Zach Burtis a week early. We'll be saying it all week. And congratulations, of course, to tonight's race winner, Dustin Kleba. That will be it from Richmond. Hopefully we'll see you next time for the NORA Retro Cup Series as they take on the All-Star Race at Charlotte next week. Until then, a few more broadcasts on the way. Don't miss them. BRB tomorrow, New Hampshire, the BRB Race-A-Rama.